All right, and welcome back to the show. Today we have a stuffed pork loin. Today we're stuffing it with a Boston butt. We're going to show you how to get this seasoned up, stuffed up, and cooked up. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. So we're going to start with the first part of our stuffing. This is on the Boston butt. So I have this nice and stiff because it was in the freezer. I put it in the freezer right before I'm about to do this just to get a little bit more firm. Because when you're grinding down pork, it has a tendency to get a little warm on you. So we're just going to start cutting this meat down so it fits in our grinder. Just like this. Now, like I said, it's a little bit more firm because it's almost on the verge of freezing. All right, and we're going to cut it down again to get into our grinder. Thin strips so they go through. Just like that. Now I have a bowl over here. Once they're cut, and we're going in the bowl with them. And the reason why we're going in the bowl with them is because we're going to season with them. This one might be a little too thick, so I might just cut this down a little bit more. Get in there. This way, this nice pointy end will go right down into the grinder. And any thick ends like this that you see, you can even cut this end off like that to make sure it goes down into the grinder okay. There we go. Let's just cut up this piece. It's a little bit harder to cut through when it's at this point because it's not 100% thawed. And it's cold. All right, here we go. And I'm just gonna kind of point my end so it goes down into the grinder easy. Now I have a bigger grinder, but you won't need it for this little bit of meat. So I pull out the smaller one because it makes a lot less noise and it's easier to work with. Now this is the same way you would make sausages in casings. The only difference is you're really not casing them. All right, so here we go. Now we have all of our meat. I'm just going to drop this off to the sink. And now we have our meat for sausages. This right here is a mix that has garlic, onion powder, pepper, sage, black pepper, and a few more spices in there. You can put whatever you want to put, but right now we're using this. So we're going to start getting our meat spiced up. I spice it before I go into the grinder with it because it's a lot easier. And you actually know what amount you're putting in. Because once it goes into the grinder, nice and seasoned up, you don't have to season it afterwards. Here we go. And fennel seeds, that's another thing that I have in here. And make it yours. You can put whatever spices you want in there. You just want salt and pepper, you can have sausages with salt and pepper. But this is going to be the filling, so you want it to have some good flavor for the pork loin. Just like that. And when you season like this, you won't over salt. And what I usually do is I fry up the piece of the sausage mix, and I can see where I'm at in flavor. So once I send this through the grinder, I can actually put a little piece on the stove, try it out, and see if it needs any more seasoning right before I cook it. And that's how I do my sausages too, when I'm hanging sausages or I make kielbasa. Same type of way. We don't want to be stingy with the seasoning. I have a little bit of salt in here, not much. And most of the salt we'll season the loin piece with and season the inside. And you don't want to overpower your stuffing meat. And we're almost there. A little bit more. And now we're ready to send this. I think everything's coated and covered. Now we're ready to send this through the grinder. Here we go. That's it. All right. So let's get our grinder going. We're gonna put this underneath our grinder. And we're gonna start grinding up our meat. Here we go. Now you see how I say I take the pieces. Sometimes you'll have to push down. I would highly suggest using a stomper. I've been doing this for years, so don't put your fingers in there. Don't do what I do. I'm just gonna pull it through. See all that flavor coming through there with it. That's a big piece going through. This is where when you use the bigger grinder, you don't have to worry about that. This one takes a little bit more time, but you see all that nice even fat. This is why I use a Boston butt, because I want that nice even fat. Sometimes I'll mix different hams in here, ham meat from the shoulder, and use different parts of the pig to get that flavor. Alright, I'm going to get the grinding the rest of this up. We're going to meet you right back here. Now that we have our stuffing, we're going to just put this off to the side and we're going to get this loin meat ready for the stuffing. So the first thing that I do, it's got a little fat on top here. I'm going to try to come in and clean this piece of meat up just a little bit. Now, there is silver skin on pork. There's silver skin on all sorts of meats. So, and I see some on this meat. That whole side right there. So we're gonna get the cutting on here and get most of that silver skin off of there. And the thinner you go with it, the more you'll see it. I'm just gonna come up under the skin, just like that. Pull back. Without losing a lot of this meat. Now that's pretty thick silver skin. So I cut deep on there to get that out of there. And now we're going to wind up rolling this, so don't worry about it. And any good fat that's here, we'll keep it. Let's just cut that out of there, clean that up. And now most of our silver skin is off of there. And we're going to flatten this piece of meat out and get it to the point where you could roll it up. And I'm going to keep some of this fat on here. And let's get rid of this silver skin piece over here. You can see it right there. Even though we're going to roll this up, you don't want to roll it up and have to chuck anything out of your mouth. So that's what we're doing. We're just removing anything that's going to create an unpleasant bite. All right. Let's just get that little corner spot and see if there's any silver up under there. Nope. So we're looking pretty good. All right. We got some fat over here. We're going to remove that. Clean it up. This way we can roll it. Now this piece right here, what I'll do is I'll just cut this piece right off. And I'll just save that piece. Because if you're making sausages next time, you can throw that in with your meats. It will be too lean to make regular sausage meat out of because it's loin meat. And loin meat will dry out on you real quick. All right, so looks like we're looking pretty good. I got some more silver skin over here. So we'll start to strip that piece, and then we're ready to roll this out. And you want to make it even, so this way everything lines up when you do roll it out. Just trim it up, and then start to roll it out. That piece on the end, just trim it up. And we're looking pretty good here. All right, so this is where we start to roll it out. I'm going to use this knife today. So the first thing we're going to do is come across, just like this. Even. and make a very even cut. Thick enough, but even enough. And start separating back your meat. Basically what you're doing is you're unrolling it. But you don't want to go through the meat. Just want to get it opened up, flattened out. Like that. Now I come in and just go thin, really thin, like that. And just get it open. I'll flip, I'll stay on this end. I was gonna flip it, but for the camera sake and showing you guys this, it's a different angle for me. So I'm gonna have to work with this because I'm used to doing this without a camera. Now, if you make a mistake, don't worry about it. It's all going to flatten out and cook together, back together anyway. So don't worry about it. Just open it, get it open. And rollable. All right. Now I got enough on that end. Now I'm going to start cutting on this end and get, well, I think I'm going to just stay. I'm going to have to stay in this direction to show you guys this. Just like that. And what I'm doing is just creating little slits in here so I can flatten this out. And then I will be able to roll it back up evenly. All right. So first stage is down. I got this cut up. So want to just flatten each piece down. Just like this. This is doing two things. It's flattening the meat out, and it's also creating a more tender piece of meat. So I just kind of come in and beat the whole thing up. Just like that. Now I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to start to do the same thing to this side, just like you're creating pork cutlets. All right, that's it. So now any place I feel that needs any more slits, I can just get them in. All right, so now we're gonna start with our stuffing. We got this done, and I'm gonna get this back onto the tray, and then we're gonna start to fill it up and roll it up, and that'll be that. And we'll show you how to get that done. So stick around, don't go anywhere. So we're ready to stuff this. We have our meat here. Right here we have bell peppers, Spanish yellow onion, sage, portobello mushrooms. And this right here is the same seasoning that we put inside our sausage meat. So this is the same exact seasoning. So the first thing we're gonna do is start to season our meat, the inside, with that same seasoning that the sausage has. Moving back our layers in there. Like that. These are almost like pork cutlets. So I pounded them down, and they're all just kind of hanging in there together. Now you could just unroll this. I did it a different way than a lot of you guys probably are used to seeing. But I like to pound out those cutlets and get this thing really nice and tender. And when you start to do the slices and break down that meat, it leads for a lot less tougher cut of meat in there, and it's a lot more tender, and it just overall just tastes better, feels better, and it just eats better. And this is nice and seasoned. All right, now we're gonna start going in with our olive oil. I'll go a little olive oil on here. Just so we can rub this around. And you're not gonna get any dry powder bites in your mouth. Helps everything just marinate a lot better. Just like that. And then now, start stuffing. Now, I got my sausage mix here. And I'm just gonna start to mix it up a little bit, because it just came out of the grinder. And I just wanna get it mixed. So this way, if you open this up, you're not gonna see pieces that look like they just came out of the grinder. I'll go in like this. Now I left this out for a little bit because I want it easier to work with. Just stuff it all in between the cracks in here. Just like that. Pork against pork. This is going to be fantastic. And just start to find your spots. And the spots that I cut a little holes in here, don't worry about that, because once we roll it up, you're not going to see that anyway. Just start to just get that pork filling in the middle and everywhere. Just find your layers in there. Like these layers. Here we go. Just fold it back over. And when you get enough sausage stuffing in here, you don't want to overstuff it, because it's going to come back out on you and you'll have a hard time with it. And you want enough as a hint of a flavor But again, you don't want to overpower the loin meat either with a bunch of sausages, because sausage is a very powerful meat. All right, here we go. And it's looking pretty good. And when you feel that you got enough sausage meat in between each one, now you can start to put some on top. Like that. And on the outside. And that, I think, is going to do it. Maybe a little bit more here. All right. And I feel that I think I'm done with that. A little bit more. As I start to roll it up, I'm going to kind of really judge where I'm at with this, because I can always unroll it, either pull some out or put some in. All right, so now that we got that, we got our seasonings done, our stuffing is done, let's start going in with our onions. Now, we're not going to put these in between the cracks. We're just going to put these all on one thing, our sage. More onion. And before I roll this up, I'm going to chop up some fresh garlic and add that to this mix, which I didn't do. But there will be fresh garlic in here as well. Just like this. And a nice portobello mushrooms. And the peppers. And this is just going to add very nice flavor in here. All right, I'm going to chop a piece of garlic up. I'll meet you right back here and I'll show you how to roll this up. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. This is a clove of garlic. Just add it in the bunch. Just like that. And now we're ready to roll. Now I have olive oil and I have some twine. And we're going to get this tied up now. It's very important that you take your time as you're rolling this. And if anything falls out, don't worry about it. If you have any holes, you can always put it on the side that has the holes in it and cook it down. A lot of things you can do. So I cut a piece of twine off. I'm going to get it ready. I'm just going to put it on the end here. And I'm going to start to roll this. I think I'm going to start from this end. And if I don't like the way this end rolls, I'll just kind of do the other end. And it's whatever end you get a good roll in. So I start from the middle and I start to just tuck everything in. Just like this. And I start to roll. And the stuff that's falling out, don't worry about it. But keep the roll tight. I'm going to bring this back just like that. And I'm going to keep it tight. And there you have it, like that. And anything that's fell out of the ends, just drag it back around and stuff it back into the ends. Just like that. You can do it best after you tie it off. So just let it sit on the tray for a while, but get your space cleaned up and move anything that fell out just off to the side. And you can stuff it in through the sides. Now I'm going to show you this side like this. Whoop, let me dig a piece out of there. All right, so we're all set. I'm completely wrapped. And now we're gonna start to get our string on here. So let me just wipe my hands, because I want nice, dry, clean hands. And now I'm gonna start with my rope. So what I like to do is I put my rope in one solid piece so I can find it later on. So I'm probably gonna do about 4 ties on here. Or 5. Almost judge it out to the point where if you had guests come over, how many people is this roast gonna serve? So I'm gonna go like this, tie another knot, start over here. So that's the first piece. I'm gonna cut this piece off, just like that. And now we're gonna come over and tie another. Now what I'll do is judge it out. If I want my next knot to be here, then that's what I do. I make it there. I put my hand here. I use the tray to bring the string over. Keep your string loose so it doesn't get clogged up. And I'll just lift the piece, drag under. And bring my string right around. Now, it doesn't look like I'm gonna need all this string, so what I'll do is cut it. Make it a lot easier to work with. So now I can bring my string back around. It's underneath the roast. Put it right where you want it. Right up under there. And loop it around. There we go. And we're just going to continue just like that. Now that's my second tie. Come in again. I want this about there. Lift this roast up. Get it under. I want it about there. Just going to tie it under. Drag it through. And make sure it's even. And there you go. Just like that. And just keep going. Tie it under. So lift this. Come right under the bottom. Loop it. Tie it. And the last but not least, the one on the end. Now this is the smaller end, so I don't want to make it as tight because you're going to push all your stuffing out of here. Just make it even. Bring it down a little bit more. And this one we're going to tie off. So you get it tight. I'm going to cut it again so I get an easier time to work with this. Let's bring it in. Last loop's always the hardest. First loop, always the hardest. And there we have it. Tie it off. I'm gonna make sure my fingers are dry so I can grab this and tie it off some more. Make it tighter. Get that right through there. Last one, like I said, always a tight one. I'm going to loop it through and tie it off. Okay, there we have it. Cut it off. Let's get some olive oil in here. Just like that. Now that olive oil is going to give it a nice roasting experience because it's going to crisp this up very nice. And we have this seasoned up pretty good on the inside. So I think we're going to come in with a little black pepper and a little salt and finish this up. So I'm using a heavy gauge pretzel salt here. Morton's kosher salt. I'm going with that. Now our sausage has salt in it, so you don't want to really over salt. And this is the outside, so I think I'm just going to finish off in black pepper. Just like that. And now she's done, and here you have it. Now, don't move it around too much. Once it's in one position, you're gonna relocate it, but you don't wanna move it around. And it's gonna come off of this tray onto another tray, and onto the cooker it goes. And I'll wind up stuffing that back into the side. But that's it. There you have it. Onto the cooker she goes. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, this is what we're rolling with today. This is Weber's 22-inch kettle. Let's give you a quick tour. This is Weber's basic kettle, 22-inch. Just, you got a couple air vents on the top here, very basic. On this side, you got a thermometer. It's got a little handle that goes on the lid to lock it in, and you could just put more coals to this. I got a custom grate in here right now, so this is my custom fire grate that I have, and that's just my grate for this grill. I took the Weber grate off down the bottom. I leave the bottom vents wide open always on this, and I just control it with the top. That's it. We're gonna load this up with some coal, show you our fire setup. Stick around, don't go anywhere. So this is my fire setup here. I got a couple of fire starters on each end. I got a nice couple of pieces of pecan wood over here. And I'm gonna light this thing up in a little bit, and we're just gonna let it go nice and easy. We want a nice easy fire for this cook. Most of your cooks are gonna be a nice easy fire. The only time you need a raging fire is you're cooking steaks, chops, stuff that needs to cook quick. So we're gonna go nice easy fire. It's gonna be that. All right, our fire's lit. We're gonna let this crank up for a little bit, let it get stabilized, and we'll see you right back here. Stick around, don't go anywhere. Okay, our Weber's cranking at about 300 degrees. It's time to go on. I got my probe hanging off to the side. We're gonna put this right on, just like that. right before we go on, I mix up rosemary, fresh garlic, and thyme. And we're just gonna top this off. And we're gonna get our fire closed back up, stabilized, and that's that. All right, let's get this closed back up, get our fire stabilized, and we'll see you in a second. All right, so we're at 104 internal temperature. It's been on here for about 45 minutes, and she's looking good. Nice even fire. Probably got about another half hour, and then we're gonna pull it. I'm gonna close this back up, get it stabilized again. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. We're ready to pull. I'm pulling this right now at 147. So we're gonna bring this inside. We're gonna let it rest. And we'll meet you right back here. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. And here we are. We're on that chopping board again. Let's get it on. Let's see what we got. Look at that. Nice, beautiful, Southern style roast. All right, let's get into it. Now I let this rest for about a half hour. And I'm gonna find her strings, because I like to get all the string off first, because you don't want anybody choking on this. So I put about five strings in here. So the nice part is, if you find all your strings right off the bat, then you're not gonna have a hard time. It's all gonna come off in one piece. And this way you won't have a hard time finding it later on. All right, let's cut that out of there. Now our strings are off. We're just gonna pull them through. And around. And there we go. And that is all of our string. All right. Now it's time to cut into this. And what I'll do is I'll just cut right down the middle, just to show you what we got. All right, here we go. Look at that. A little piece fell off from the bottom, but it's no big deal. But you can see all of that nice sausage in there and stuffing in there. It's juicy. You can see it squeezing. I do a squeeze, you'll see it drip down. And let's get a nice Pitmaster taste of this. Look at that. You can see all the mushrooms in there, the peppers. That is fantastic. All right. There you have it. We're going to plate this up, and we're going to see you right back here. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, and there you have it. Stuffed pork loin with sausage. And if you like this video, and many, many, many more that are about to come, hit that like button and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that little bell so you get those notifications first. And with no further ado, gotta get that Pitmaster's taste.